Alright, in this tutorial we are going to go over how to place pictures, how to edit the pictures within the bounding boxes. We're also going to add an effect to some of our pictures, and we are going to talk about file management again and where to find the links if for any reason you have a picture go missing. So first thing I want you to do is take that group that you made that is text and that group that you made that is graphics. Remember, I'm holding shift on the keyboard to select those two things. And I'm going to have you go up to objects and lock those two. The reason I'm going to have those locked is so you can focus on the pictures themselves. So if for any reason you need to go back and change that text, if it doesn't quite look right or whatever reason, make sure you unlock them. Okay, so placing pictures. There are two ways to place pictures. First is the way we are going to do it for this tutorial, which is having a layout ahead of time and placing the pictures within a specific layout. There is also the option of just placing a picture and then resizing it and doing your layout based upon the pictures and text you want to use. Both are fine. It all depends on how you like to work. I prefer laying it out first so that I'm not influenced by the pictures, but other people might choose to put the pictures in first and then decide which ones look best together. So I'm going to show you both ways. The first way is, let's go ahead and pick this left-hand picture. Okay? And what I'm going to do is take my pictures and I'm going to ungroup them for now so that I can work with them individually. And like I said already, these text and graphics are locked, so all we can do is select pictures. So make sure you have a black arrow. You're simply going to select this first picture bar on the left, and you're going to go to File, Place. Remember, we're just referencing our folders. We're going to go into our Project 1 folder, and we're going to go into the Tutorial folder. Now, I picked two different pictures. I'm going to try to see which one works best. I picked two different pictures to possibly go on that left-hand side. I'm going to go with this one first, which is more of a building. Okay. What you will notice is that it's going to fit the picture to frame. If you remember, in the last tutorial, we went to fitting, and we said frame fitting options, and we said fill frame proportionally. So that's exactly what that picture has done. The problem is, I don't want to focus on that part of the picture. So, how do you edit a picture within a bounding box? First thing you need to understand, the black arrow controls the bounding box, the part that contains the picture. If you notice, as I change it, I am revealing more of the picture. So how do I edit the picture inside? That is where your white arrow comes in handy. What you do is you grab your white arrow and you double click on the picture. Now, it doesn't reveal the rest of the picture, but I can see how big it is. And what I also can do is I can move this picture and try to find the portion of it that I want to use. Alright, so that's the portion of the building I want to use. And I'm going to come in and trim out that background later. But for right now, I just want you to find that spot on your building that you want to use. If you want to make your picture bigger, let's say I want to get rid of these words down here that have somebody's kind of watermark on them. I can hold the Shift key. I'm holding the Shift key, and I can drag the corner. And there I kind of get an overview of the whole picture in grayed out version. And then I can come back and readjust and show the portion of the picture that I like best. Alright, so I'm going to move mine over because I want to come in and cut out this background later on, and I want to see all of the steps. So that might take a little bit of effort to get it in there correctly. If you would like to rotate the picture, because if you'll notice on mine, it's not lining up perfectly. So what I want to do is I just want to rotate it a little bit so when I come back in and edit out the background, it's easier. So there's two ways to rotate. One, you can use these rotate tools at the top, but those are going to flip it a full 90 degrees, and that took it out of my picture. What I would suggest is you use these arbitrary rotations, and they're just 1 degree at a time. Okay, so I just need to rotate mine -1, and now I have a perfect alignment. I'll need to go ahead and shift that up to fill the frame. But that is how you rotate a picture. Now that rotated the picture within the bounding box. If I wanted to rotate the actual picture, let's say I wanted to have more of a diagonal layout, then I would click the black arrow and I could rotate then the bounding box. Okay? And the nice thing about this is you can just type in 0 when you want it to go back, if you want it to go back to normal. We are going to go ahead and place several other pictures. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can place more than one picture at a time. Okay, so I'm going to grab these 3, and I would, if it was my layout, if I was doing something about myself, I would probably pick 3 pictures that are somewhat related. Because they're right next to each other and they're exact same size, your eye automatically draws a connection between them. So go ahead and pick 3 pictures that you feel have some sort of connection, either visually or maybe what they're showing, the content of them has a sort of connection. Just as a design element, I would encourage that. So now you have these 3 pictures selected. You're still going to go to File, Place, which you're always going to do if you're doing it directly from InDesign. I will show you one other way of doing it. But you never drag a picture into InDesign, and you never open a picture through InDesign. You can't open a JPEG. That's not how the pictures are used. You can only open an InDesign file. So remember, to put a picture in, you have to go to Place. So I need to choose 3 pictures because I currently have 3 boxes selected. I also probably want to keep in mind that they're all kind of horizontally located, so they're all landscape. So I'm going to choose that one. I'm going to hold Control. Holding Control allows me to select them out of order. If I held Shift, it would select every photo from there to wherever I selected. So let me show you. See, if I click this one first and I hold Shift, then it selects all 4 of those. If I click that one and then I hold Control, I can select in any random order. I'm going to select those 3. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and select this one of the jerseys. Now, what you have to do is you get this little dialog box. You'll see it. It has the last picture I placed or grabbed out of my box. And what I want to do is I want to hover over the box where I want it to go. If I click out here randomly, it's just going to place it out to the side. What I want to do is click on those boxes that I selected first. Okay? And now the pictures are placed directly within those bounding boxes. Again, that's how you place a picture if you have set up the layout first. What you can do is go back to each of those pictures. Again, see, I'm cutting off quite a bit of the top and bottom, and I feel like that information is necessary. Right? So I'm going to show you another trick that you can do with pictures. What you want to do is right click on it. You're going to use that same fitting option, but what you're going to say is you're going to say fit frame to content. Okay, so I'm going to make that bounding box bigger, and I always want to use the fitting options to do that as opposed to coming in here and just moving the bounding box, because then I might have a really big blank space in there. You'll see that white area right there. I want to avoid having that, especially if I go in and put an outline on this picture. What you'll notice is that outline, let me just hide the frame edges really quickly. That outline is now the bounding box. So now I have this weird white blank space and this big outline around my picture. So that is why whenever you are trying to change the way the bounding box fits around the picture, it is best to go to fitting and say fit frame to content. Okay? So now I'm showing that entire, let me do that one more time. I'm showing that entire picture. I'm going to go ahead and click on this one with the white arrow. I'm actually just going to adjust this one down. I think it shows enough of the picture. So those are your options for how to lay out the space. Okay, let's go ahead and put in our larger picture. Go back and show frame edges. Okay, I've picked a specific picture for that one, so I'm going to go to File, Place, and I like to go to thumbnails so I can see what I've done, even if I've labeled them all correctly. Sometimes it's just nice to make sure. Perfect. That shows all of the parts that I want, so I don't need to resize it or do anything different. The only thing I'll need to do is later on I want to align the tops of these two pictures because I had to resize this one to fill, to contain the entire picture. I'm going to place the last two, and I need to choose ones that work in that horizontal layout. And see, I actually don't have any pictures left that I haven't already used that fit in that horizontal layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can adjust. Right? So I'm going to grab this picture right here. And as you'll see, obviously this is not a good layout to have this long and skinny picture. So what I will do is I'm going to go ahead and say fitting. And I'm going to say fit frame to content. Now, I want everybody to try this because this is another way of resizing your picture. Okay? If I were to just drag the bounding box like that and say fit to frame, then I would have to continue adjusting and continue adjusting. But instead, because what I can do is I can hold Shift and Control on my keyboard and I can stretch this bounding box. By holding Shift and Control, it changes not only the size of the bounding box, but also the size of the picture at the same time. So I'm going to continue hitting Shift and Control, and I'm going to adjust that picture to fit the space. Now I know I have a long, skinny picture that can fit right there. So I'm going to come back to that in just a minute. I'm going to put in my last picture. I'm going to put in this picture. Alright, that actually works fairly well. I'm going to just check my bounding box and see. Nope, that works fairly well. I like that cropping on her, so I'm going to go ahead and keep that. If it were my own magazine, I need to get rid of that watermark at the bottom, so I need to make it a little bit bigger, but for our purposes, that works fairly well. So what am I going to do with this space right here? I need to add a new picture. I'm going to show you what to do if you're just simply placing a picture and not putting it directly into a box that you've already laid out. So I don't need to select anything. I just need to go to File, Place, and then I need to find the picture I want to place. Let me look at this. I have soccer. I might choose the flag. I might choose this runner. I think I'm going to go with the runner because it kind of goes along with the soccer next to it. So I would just simply pick the picture I want and say open. Okay. Again, you see this little dialog box like I did before, but I don't have anything to click on. So what I can do is I can place it off to the side, okay? And then I can do what I just did with the soccer picture. I can, notice I'm making sure it's aligned at the bottom, and then I'm going to use Shift and Control, and I'm going to bring it down until it's the height of the other picture there, the soccer picture. And those green lines, see, they're helping me snap directly to it. This is a great feature in CS6. Make sure you take advantage of that. It makes your layouts look 10 times better. Snap that down. Okay, so now these are perfectly aligned. And I'm going to move this over. If you double click on it, it automatically goes to the white arrow. That's a good thing to note. Notice how it changed from a blue bounding box to a yellow. If I were to make changes at this point, it would simply be the picture. So do make note of what color the bounding box is, because that tells you what are you editing. Are you editing the outline or are you editing the picture itself? Alright, so I'm pretty happy with the general layout. It has a fairly good flow. Most of the pictures seem to relate to each other.